2025 was the year of stablecoins. Going into 2026, it will be the year of real world asset tokenization and derivatives. And the token XDC by the XDC Network has positioned itself ready for RWA tokenization going into 2026. We have partnerships with Binance, Kraken, Circle, ties to BlackRock, Securitize, Fidelity, State Street. So don't go anywhere as we dive into the token XDC. All right, so as we know, the year 2025 was the year for the stablecoin. So what is 2026 going to be? Well, 2026 is lining up to be the year of RWA tokenization and derivatives. We can see that being true from like Larry Fink speaking more and more about RWA tokenization and focusing on derivatives. So I believe in 2026, you're going to see BlackRock come into the market in a major way. We have already seen them with Ethereum and Bitcoin, of course, but that was just them getting started. 2026, I think you're going to see a bigger focus on these major assets under management, such as BlackRock, State Street, etc., really now taken the forefront of the crypto world. And we will see that after the Clarity Act gets signed, which we are expecting later on this month, if not this year. So let's go ahead and dive into the XDC token. But before we do, if you are new to the channel, I did make 2 other videos on the XDC network using the XDC token. So if you want to learn more, you can definitely check those videos out. They will be in the pinned comments and also my description down below. All right, let's go ahead and give a quick recap of XDC for those of you that don't know who it is, or maybe you forgot about these key factors, but let's go ahead and cover it out. So right here on your screen, you'll see it says, unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are entrenched as digital gold and decentralized finance infrastructure, respectively, XDC has carved a niche in the real world assets, RWA, and trade finance sector. We have enterprise adoption. XDC is designed for tokenizing real-world assets, enabling faster settlements and streamlining global trade, areas with trillion-dollar potential. Cost efficiency. With near-zero gas fees and energy-efficient consensus, it provides an attractive alternative to Ethereum's high transaction cost. Native USDC plus CCTP v2 coming to XDC on August 26, 2025. Yes, this is an older article, but that doesn't matter. The facts are still valid. Circle announced that USDC and CCTP v2 are coming to the XDC network, providing a regulated on-chain dollar for RWA trade and DeFi flows on XDC. U.S. access expanded. Kraken and Binance. So Kraken listed XDC on September 2nd, 2025. Binance listed XDC, providing U.S. users with straightforward regulated access buy and trade XDC. XDC operates on delegated proof of stake, which is XDPOS, which the project documents as being orders of magnitude less energy intensive than proof of work networks. With second level finality and negligible fees, these attributes align with ESG screen mandates and large institutions seeking to reduce the environmental footprint of on-chain activity. 21 Shares launched an XDC ETP on the 6th Swiss exchange in August 2025, now managing over $30 million in assets under management. The move opened regulated institution exposure to XDC, bolstering its legitimacy. So what I want you to really grab from this article is the fact that XDC is focusing on RWA tokenization. And as I mentioned earlier, the year of 2025 was simply stablecoins. So you didn't see a lot of traction from XDC per se from them, although we will cover their announcement with stablecoins here at the back end of the video. But right here, you're looking at XDC more as a RWA tokenization project, in which we know 2026 is going to be that year, following with the derivatives as well. So it's my belief when you're looking at projects, we should be looking at projects that are focusing on RWA tokenization, knowing that 2026 is going to expand these projects. Let's keep going and let's learn a little bit more about them. This is going to be from Business Wire. If I can make sure I'm recording, we're good to go. This is from Business Wire on February 24th of 2025. So again, it's a bit of an older article, but it's important to know if you haven't seen it yet. It says XDC Network launches first 4 money market fund tokens in alliance with Archax. So we have XDC Network, an enterprise grade Layer 1 blockchain today announced the launch of its first funds on its platform in token form in collaboration with RChex, the first FCA-regulated digital asset exchange broker and custodian. This builds on the previous partnerships announcements between XDC and RChex for Real World Tokenization. The first fund tokens that are live represent 4 of the world's largest money market funds, from providers including ABRDN, Fidelity International, BlackRock, and State Street, and will be followed by others from 100 plus available through RChex from a variety of asset managers. Tokenized access to money market fund addressing a growing demand for institutional investors for regulated digital-first financial products. There are currently $11.5 billion tokenized RWAs on chain, with some projections estimating the value could reach $16 trillion by 2030. By bringing these established investment vehicles onto the blockchain, XDC Network and RChex are creating new opportunities from improved liquidity, faster settlement, and reduced operational cost. So right there in this point, I want you to point out is, again, they're talking about RWA tokenization. They expect it to be 16 trillion by 2030. What I think is important to know, and you may not know about this, and this may be more of a tin hat theory for you, but if you haven't yet, I would highly encourage you to look into Agenda 2030. Klaus Schwab put it on with the WEF. I won't go into too much about it because the platform we're on may not like that topic, but I highly encourage you to check out Agenda 2030. All this will start to make sense more as you do so, but they are planning everything to go on chain by 2030. By 2035, these projects will be full scale up and running. That's why I really highly encourage people to understand this market is more of a long-term play. It's not a short-term play to get rich quick. If you've been in the market for 3 months, don't expect to be a millionaire unless you put a bunch of money in the market and you have that kind of capital laying around. But if you're an everyday investor walking into crypto, don't expect to be a millionaire by January, because it does take some time to build and you need to build your bags up. Okay. So let's keep going. I talked about Securitize. So this is from Securitize's actual website. And I just simply want to point out the fact, if you look on your screen, this is Securitize's website, and they are listing XDC below Ripple next to Solana. So they are getting attention and traction from these major investment firms such as Securitize, BlackRock, etc. That's how you know this is going to be a long-term project. You have major investors looking at this token already. So let's go ahead and look at crypto bubbles to give you a better idea of how it's performing. So should you want to look into the market and see if this is a token for you, you can see right here on crypto bubbles. We're just going to take a quick look at it. You'll see in the last 24 hours, we have $36.70 million in trading, market cap of 978 million. And then you can see down here at the bottom, just your performance on the hour, the day, the week, the month, the year. But I will point out on the yearly, we are up 96.1%, but the monthly took a brutal hit of 25.1%. So when I'm looking at that, I'm seeing that the market is down. It's down by 25%. I don't think it's the project. Obviously, we have seen a lot of volatility in the market. So I know the project isn't failing. It's just because the market is crashing itself. But for me, when I understand that this project is a major project, much like XRP, HBAR, XLM, etc., I know that major investment firms and investors, they want this project. They want crypto. Crypto's here to stay. So they're gobbling up while they can, while it's at a discount. So I'm seeing this as a positive. You're up 96.1 on the year still, even with you being down 25% for the month. That tells you how healthy this project really is. All right, so let's keep on going. Now let's look at something I did cover in one of my last videos, but we didn't elaborate very much on it. I want to do a little bit more right now. So this is from Reuters. It says XDC Ventures acquires Contour Network, unveils stablecoin lab to transform cross-border trade finance. This came out on October 22nd, 2025. So let's roll down. I'm not going to really talk about the Contour too much, but we're going to talk about the stablecoin lab growth strategy. So it says XDC Ventures will restructure Contour strategy, launching a stablecoin lab to deepen institutional trade finance integration. The lab will focus on building pilots with banks and corporates for regulated stablecoin issuance and settlement, offering hands-on experience under frameworks like Genius Act. leveraging Contour's infrastructure for pilots that optimizes treasury returns and working with capital efficiency, developing functional APIs for stablecoin-based LC settlement, enabling seamless integration into existing systems and reducing processing from days to the near real time. Utilizing XDC Network for enhanced programmability, real-world utility, and trade finance stablecoins. Co-founder of XDC Network, XDC Venture said, banks need settlement rails, treasury optimization, and compliance frameworks. We are building all three. We see Cantor not only as trade finance network, but also as enabler compliant coin, uses cases, and deliver new efficiencies and revenue streams in the bank corporates. And what we were talking about earlier is the XDC Circle USD support. And this is where I want to dive into the stablecoin a little bit more so you can see the value, or at least the potential value of XDC, especially when they're teaming up with something like USDC. It says the XDC network and Circle USD support. Contour will integrate the XDC network as its settlement and tokenization backbone, enabling faster, low-cost cross-border transactions. Circle's recent support for USDC on XDC provides a regulated stablecoin for settlements, efficient on-off ramps via global partners, and bridge from LC documentation to real-time digital settlement. So what I want to point out there is we have now USDC being able to be used across XDC network, and we're seeing how XDC network is actually expanding more and more so. So there's a lot of doubt when it comes to XDC. People say they just don't have enough to be valuable or long-term. I think what people miss out on is these projects can always expand and adopt and acquire other businesses to consolidate into one and grow their business. We don't know their plans. All we can do is really follow the news stories and put all of it together. And we did that exactly here in this video. But I wanted to show you right here on the USDC why this is a big deal for the XDC network. Is just the sheer volume and exposure this will give the XDC network. So take a look on your screen again. This is from RWA.xyz. We're looking at the stablecoin USDC. You'll see that it has $72 billion moving right now as a market cap. Then we have holders of 33 million, and then we have a monthly transfer of $2 trillion. And monthly active addresses, we have 10 million plus, and you can see where it's really coming in at 50 billions of that is really on the Ethereum network. Then they break it down. You can see right there where it breaks down. But the key point here is the monthly transfer of $2 trillion of USDC. Now let's say some of that hits the XDC network, and XDC network starts taking a good chunk of that from Ethereum or Solana or Base, etc. Now that piece of the pie is being shared more, and XDC becomes more valuable. As we see XDC grow and get more announcements with partnerships, I think you'll see the potential behind this. And keep in mind, like, I don't know exactly what the long-term price projection could be because I hear different stories from it. But we do know it has a lot of utility, and they are focusing on RWA tokenization, which we saw earlier that they're expecting that to be a $16 trillion market by 2030. And XDC is positioning themselves to be a lead project in that space. So it's something to look into if you are an investor. It's not financial advice, but something I suggest you at least take a look at. All right, that's all I have for you on this video. But hey, as always, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and become that change you want to see. I'll see you on the next one.